And I think the reason it came back here, and you know, it's because of EDM.
Right.
It's, you know, which is kind of a dirty word.
Yeah. We have a whole article about this, you guys.
We
You want to?
do.
Alex
We
popped
do.
off on Twitter.
I
Talk
did.
about
I'm
it.
sorry. And
No,
I
I
mean,
love
like,
it.
I love EDM, and I love the idea that it's a marketing term. But if they hadn't created the marketing term to create a genre, and let's be honest, there's like a genre of EDM that's EDM, it wouldn't have popped off like that. Because 10 years ago, at the end of Bloghouse, when like Daft Punk and like Justice were getting big, that was like a big deal. It was, and the marketing people said, look, we can market this, and they turned it into something. And all of those kids that got into EDM then, you know as much as I do, the longer you stay in dance music, the more refined your tastes get.
Yes.
The more likely you are to dive down the rabbit hole. And there's like an 18-month cycle for people that are just tourists in dance music.
Sure.
And then there's the lifer, like you and myself and MJ and all these other people that we know. And those people will dive down the rabbit hole inevitably. And that's how we got to house and techno being so big here. Because all of these EDM kids, all of these kids that their first show was like an EDC or a Tiesto show, or like seeing somebody like Martin Garrix. The reason they kept diving down the rabbit holes because they fell in love with it, and they just kept going and going. And that's how you get an arc. That's how you get like Factory 93 for Insomnia. Like, you know, that's how you get that stuff, because we're finally figuring out what the rest of the world's knew 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was so well said. I'm glad you touched on EDM in general, because I feel like it is one of these things. And for me personally, I'm very big on not, or at least with my own personal content, like coming across very approachable. And I never want to come off like snobby or elitist, because I know there can be a whole side of dance music that can feel that way. But to your point, it's just like a matter of education. And, you know, I call things like, I have my EDM news segment and stuff like that. And now just having a better understanding of it, I feel like for me, I'll still use it because I know, like, for search, that's what the average person is searching for, and the hashtags you're using and stuff like that. So I will use it for that. But now I don't know if anybody's picked up on it, but literally since working with MJ, I referred to it like as dance music now way, way, way more than I'm saying EDM, because I do recognize it's just some of these art you wouldn't call like Leila Benitez EDM ever.
No. And
yes,
I mean,
she's not.
That's been the thing for me since the beginning. I feel like it's EDM is too broad. Like EDM's not is like one section of dance music. Like, totally. You wouldn't call like rock and hip hop and jazz music are all different. Those are genres. And like people say, but house and techno and trance are just subgenres of EDM. And it's like, no, house is its own genre with its own subgenres. You can listen to it next to techno or next to trance and see the distinct differences in between them, and know that they all developed independently of each other. Maybe they came from the same origin 30 years ago, but they're not the same now. So let's call things what they are. I'm fine calling house music, even if it's tech house or bass house or electro
it's
house.
like the umbrella.
I can call house music, and trance, and like drum and bass, because they all have their own unique subgenres. That let's call things what they are. EDM's
this is
great.
so good.
Yeah, EDM's great, and it's a great way to get into dance music. But once you get further in, it's okay to call things what they are. I feel like even the lay person now knows what house music is. Like you say house, and they can attach themselves to something that they recognize that as. Lots of people understand what these things are. Right. We've been doing this for long enough that people get it.
Dancing.